Okay, hello and welcome to Digging Cat Homestead. I'm Lawrence W. Moore with my wife Liza Sahito on the camera. We're going to continue our tour of our land and what we're doing on it. We showed you the garden. This episode we're going to be showing you the mini orchard. Right now we're at the back end of the mini orchard, and here we're growing trees and some bushes and things that are more like productive on partial forest canopy. One tree type that benefits from the location is elderberry. We have an elderberry tree here. See, it's flowering now. We're technically about a few weeks away from the start of summer officially, and this elderberry is doing well. This area also has some shorter, kind of like bushier or vining type plants, beauty berries, sumac, and we also have some blackberries over there. A lot of the things here are just natural to this region. Oh, by the way, in case you haven't seen the first episode, we are in North Florida, climate zone 8B. So we do get winters where there is some freezing, and that'll be important as we show you the selection of trees that we have in our mini orchard. But in any case, let's keep moving onward here into the mini orchard proper. Here we're getting out into the more open sun area of what we call our mini orchard. Okay, so here, this is a black cherry. I don't know if I mentioned that before, but it's a black cherry, and seems to be doing pretty good. It's growing faster now that we've been implementing our new techniques. Got a tree pad there. I just shoot the water down the center hole, and it tends to flood a bit. And as soon as I see it starting to flood a little, I stop, and then I know that's enough for that day. But I always check, by lifting up the pad. I'll check with my finger just to get an idea of the moisture content and to make sure it's not getting too wet, where water's building up. But so far, I haven't had that problem. So I think in the past, I basically erred on the side of watering too little. Over here, this is an apple tree that we just planted yesterday. This is a Callaway crab apple. We got 2 crab apple trees because they supposedly are really good for pollinating your other apple trees. And in this area, we have a few apples. I'm going to take this label off. Since this is new, we didn't take it off yet, but basically you want to take that off so it doesn't girdle the tree. Basically, for all our trees, we kind of use the same technique. Basically, we drill holes with an auger, and it drills down pretty easily. You can reverse it out, or a lot of times I try to just don't reverse the motor, but just pull it out, and then I pull some of the soil that was there, the natural soil, to the sides and kind of pull it out around the hole I just made, so that then at the bottom of the hole we can put in some bone meal, and then you put in the tree. Then you put the Epsom salt on top. Fruit trees like Epsom salt. They like the magnesium from it. So anyway, after that, if there was some grasses and stuff that I needed to weed out of the area, then I kind of just dump them on top of the Epsom salt and then put the tree pad on. Gives you a little bit of, soil coverage underneath the pad. That'll decompose and feed the plant in the future. But in any case, it's doing pretty well. And it's here in proximity with one more crab apple over there. This is another tree we got yesterday. We got 2 cat apples and a persimmon. This persimmon, since we already have one, that's just down that way, basically right over there to the right of the dog fennel, it should help with the pollination. Now they are both self-pollinating, but if you can have more than one, it does help with the pollination so that the flowers get pollinated and you get more fruit. Yeah, I guess the apples we're going to get to in the next row. And over here, that's just a...
No, that's a pawpaw.
Yeah, that's a pawpaw. We have a few of those pawpaws that are native to here, and they just grow around the land. We let them go. Yeah, wildlife eats the fruit, and hopefully they'll eat that fruit instead of the ones we're growing. And here we have a fig. This one, I think, yeah, this was one of the trees that came with us when we moved. And it was like, once again, a small cutting. Probably would have grown further by now if I had done a little bit more watering the first couple years, but seems to have adapted to the soil, and I have high hopes for it over the course of this summer. We have a second one, and when we get to it, we'll show it to you. Here we have a mulberry. These are red mulberries. And last year they weren't looking as great. Maybe it was because I was underwatering, or maybe it was also because they were getting used to the soil. But they seem to have gotten used to the soil, much more leaf coverage. We did get mulberries off of this tree this spring. They basically flower and produce berries in the spring. And so now we're just going to keep growing it, and hopefully next spring it'll be bigger and we'll get more. But we were basically trying to find what trees worked in this area. We've had some of the tropical trees like guavas died, but then would regenerate. Now we're going to grow them in the greenhouse. Yeah, the crab apples basically are going to produce tiny little apples. Some of them have them on it already. But basically it's just going to be tiny little apples. But the thing is, they produce a lot of flowers, and it'll help these other apples get pollinated and produce their apples as well. So that's the good thing about crab apples.
The fruit are good too.
The fruit are edible, yeah.
I'm going to make apple cider.
So yeah, we have a second fig here. Not too far away from the other one. But it looks like it had a little trouble and has regenerated. I guess they needed to adapt to the soil, and looks like they've adapted now because they're looking pretty strong. Now over here, use the dog fennel, but we leave some regions of dog fennel around the land.
There are bunnies in there.
Yeah. So anyway, over here, all right, this is a transcendent crab apple, meaning it's going to escape this time-space illusion upon its death, and it's going to get away from the Earth life system because it has transcended. As you see, a little crab apple already being produced at the top. That's beautiful. We hang wind chimes on them, so that way if like a deer comes by and decides to eat the flowers, which will prevent the fruits from coming out, or things like that,
Or eat the fruit.
It'll shake the branch a little bit. That'll shake the wind chimes, and hopefully it'll get the deer to go away. We leave plenty of wild areas of the natural native fruits, berries and stuff in the area, so that we want to leave something for the creatures that live here to continue eating. We're just trying to keep them off of the new stuff that we've introduced to the area. On to the next row here.
Yeah, that's the Dorset.
All right, here's the Dorset apple with the wind chimes. But anyway, it's looking pretty good. It looks like this will become a producer when it becomes time for it to flower. I don't know how long we've had this, maybe a year.
Yeah, it's only a year old.
Yeah. And this is a persimmon as well. So the other persimmon that I've showed you so far is, you want them to be within 50 feet. Yeah, so we keep them within range of each other. This one has the wind chimes on it. We'll go this way. All right, this is the Golden Delicious apple. And yeah, it's looking pretty good and strong. I don't know that there's much more to say, but we have these apples within range of the crab apples. So over here, now this is a tree we're going to move. This was a grapefruit that we had when we first moved up here as a cutting. The frost last year, it wasn't just frost, it was below freezing temps, and it's just too much for citrus. Maybe if it was older and bigger, it wouldn't have been a problem, but we're going to move our citrus inside the greenhouse, which of course it'll be another episode showing you that situation. But basically we want some of our tropical fruits that produce more often to be protected over the winter. You can't have it where the thing grows, the frost kills it, and then another little sprout comes up again from the roots, and you'll never get fruit that way. So we're going to have to move these guys indoors. So if you're in this kind of climate zone area, there you go. The citrus does grow well in central Florida, but that's far enough south from here that
it's a different climate zone.
Yeah, it technically is a different climate zone. A whole new ball game there. So anyway, another red mulberry, close enough to the other one. Let's move on over here. This is our
Pineapple pear.
pineapple pear. These do really well here. We have a friend that lives in the area, and they have a pineapple pear that produces here, and is, well, no, it hasn't produced yet, but it's going to. I mean, these things do well, and this one made it through the cold temperatures that we had in the winter, and so yeah.
And it seems to like the soil.
So we got a second one that is right next to it over here, and they seem to do well with the soil, yeah, especially now when I'm doing the watering more often. And yeah, when they start flowering, we'll put wind chimes on these as well. Okay, so if you enjoy our casual approach to this and spending on some time seeing what we're doing, please feel free to comment. If you even have some constructive criticisms that could help us, please let us know. We'd like to have more interactions. We homesteaders need to kind of like stick together and share information. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do, and please like the video. You know, why not? This is a nectarine, and
Sun racer.
yeah, okay, they have, yeah, speed racer, but yeah, this one did produce fruit this year, right?
Yeah, it has doesn't need a lot of chill hours, so that's why it's good to know the variety.
So we try to get things that require fewer chill hours,
Yeah.
just to be sure. It's one of those things. It does freeze here, but not a lot.
This one's a Sun
Both
Home
aspects.
nectarine.
A sun what?
Sun Home.
Sun Home nectarine. Okay. So we got this because we have another nectarine over there right next to it. And so they can help pollinate each other. Once again, sometimes you read on trees they're self-pollinating, but if you get two, it'll just boost your fruit production because they're more likely to get more thoroughly pollinated. So that's why we like to have at least two of everything. And then over here we have the mayhaws, which is like a southern U.S. version of hawthorn. And so they produce berries. Now these guys like swampy soil, so I definitely need to keep watering these a lot. And so there you go. It's like this region's version of hawthorn berries. Have similar properties, the berries do. So yeah, we wanted hawthorn, and this is the best way to get it, is through something that lives in this climate zone. Now that we're coming to the conclusion of the video, please check out diggingcathomestead.com. There's a blog there for fermentations that Liza, my wife, does. There's also a blog there for her cigar box guitars. Living out in the country, we like to do a little bit of guitar building and playing. Also check out some of my sites, the Wayfarer Project, my multimedia art and music, as well as some tutorials on audio and music creation, and the Wayfarer Project Adventures, where I get involved with a little bit of creative gaming for fun. So anyway, see you next time, and I think next time we're going to check out the greenhouse and see about our tropical fruit plants and things that can't go through freezing temps in the winter.
Oh, sugar cane.
Oh, the sugar cane. Yeah, I guess we're going to do that next time too. All right, take care.